Hello and welcome back to my workshop. Doing a series of reviews of items that I've owned for several months. This particular item I have owned for 9 months. It's a mitre saw, chop saw. It's the MacAllister, which I think MacAllister is possibly a B&Q brand. I don't know if other people sell them, but certainly B&Q sell a lot of them. It's the MMIS210S-B, which is a natty name. 1500 watt. It's a very good mitre saw. It's a sliding mitre saw. I bought this from B&Q and I paid £159 for it with the stand. I think the machine itself, I think the stand was almost as expensive as the machine, but I bought them as a pair, £159. And I looked on B&Q yesterday and they're up to £170 now with the stand. It was the first big power tool that I bought, say 9 months ago. I should really only use it for shortening boards, but I tried other things with it and some of those went badly wrong. Stupidity really, and lack of experience. As I say, it was one of the first tools I bought, so I very deliberately went for the sliding mitre saw. A lot of the chop saws were just standard. You know, you go down, you chop, you come back up. That's all you've got. I decided that the sliding one just gave me so much more cutting width for boards. I still would do that. I still would go for the sliding one. I think it's much more powerful. And in fact, I quite often, even if I'm cutting a board that's, by the way, this is not plugged in, so I'm putting my hands near the blade, but it's not plugged in. If I'm cutting a board that wide, you know, even if I'm cutting that piece of wood there, I could do that by just going straight down and chopping, I guess. But I actually start from over here, get the blade up to speed. It feels very, very wrong to have my hands this near the blade, but it is unplugged. And I start from over here, get the blade up to speed, and then I cut into it like that and go back through it. So I would personally always buy a sliding mitre saw, personal choice, but that's my personal choice. I bought it because I was getting bored of doing hand sawing, and I saw this as a way to chop boards down and all sorts of stuff, which it's very good at doing. Just making sure I've got all my notes. I would say it's the second most dangerous tool that I own, which, considering it was the first one I bought, is a miracle that I didn't do myself any damage. I did try to do myself some damage several times with stupidity. It's basically I get kickback. I still, even though I in theory know what I'm doing, I still get kickback from this machine, and it does sometimes feel like it's trying to kill me. Times when I get kickback. Okay, so I'm doing a lot of 45-degree angles at the moment, and I'm doing them like this, and as I'm cutting down like this, it's applying pressure. It's putting pressure on the piece. This is my offcut. I always have my good piece on this side, offcut on this side, and the offcut is being pushed in against the backboard, and as a result, this piece of wood here is under pressure. I think probably what I should do, because my offcut is normally smaller, is I probably should do the 45-degree angle on this side, so that it's the main piece that's got the pressure. I don't know, but that's I do get it. Seems to pinch, and particularly the worst thing I do, which I know you shouldn't do, and I'm really trying to talk myself out of doing it, is I'm cutting, get all the way through the cut, I let go of the power to slow the blade down, and I bring the blade up while it's still spinning. It's an absolute no-no. You shouldn't do that. But it's just a time thing, and it's just you get complacent, and that's when accidents happen. But you bring the blade up, the blade's still spinning, and the teeth will catch the piece that's being pinched and fly it out, and potentially fly it out towards you. It could come back off the backboard towards you. it scares you anyway, regardless of whether it comes towards you. It's not a nice experience. I've had kickback when I've gone down. I measure. I make sure that, you know, I draw my line on my piece of wood. Make sure I'm not holding my hand anywhere near the trigger. So I'm just doing the unlock mechanism. I run my blade along the line that I'm going to cut to make sure that I've got it in exactly the right place. And I think occasionally I then press the power, and it means that it's touching the piece of wood that I'm about to cut while it's going up to speed. And again, that's an absolute no-no. And I've had kickback off that a couple of times. The other thing that they say is you should let the blade spin all the way down before you bring the blade up, because that also helps with tear out and things like that, I think. So you get a cleaner cut if you leave the blade all the way in while it's slowing down. So yeah, it's stupidity. It's not the machine. But I do feel like it's a machine that's doing its best to try and damage me. It's not my most dangerous, but it is well up there on the list of dangerous items. And the only reason it's not dangerous is because I know the blade can't move because it's in a fixed orientation. It also will tilt up to 45 degrees that way. I've never used it. I tried it, but for what I'm doing, I never need to do that. I always cut either dead straight here, 45 degrees there, 45 degrees there, and I've never wanted to tilt it. So if there was an option to buy one that didn't tilt, I would go for that. Other things that I've done that have been stupid, while we're talking about stupidity, I once tried to chop a round log under here. So I had a round log which I was holding, and I went down, and basically what you want is, as it's cutting, you want it pressing into the backboard. So you're pressuring against the backboard, and of course, because it was round, it actually wanted to spin it, which it did, and came back towards me. It did actually break this plastic here. Luckily it didn't do me any damage, but that was really more luck than anything else. I would definitely buy the stand. I have a friend who has a few fingers missing. He was using his chop saw on the ground of his garage, and that's I don't think that's a safe environment, and well, his fingers would suggest that it's not a safe environment. So I would get things up to waist height. The stand, despite the fact that it costs as much as the chop saw, you know, you don't want to lose your fingers, so get the stand if you're going to get the chop saw. That's my personal recommendation. I would definitely buy the sliding version. I think it's safer. You can go into the cut rather than just chopping down onto it. Always let the blade stop before you let it come up. I did find recently, I nearly took it back actually, because I did find, I've had it for 9 months, and after I'd had it for about 6 months, I was letting go of the blade, obviously letting it slow down, letting go of it, and it wasn't coming back up. Actually, I'll let you into a secret, I wasn't letting the blade slow down, I should have done. But as a result, as the blade was coming back up and still spinning, because it hadn't come fully up, this blade guard wasn't down. If it comes fully up, in theory you can't touch the blade, but because it was like that, if I put my hand under here, dangerously close to a very, very fast spinning blade, so I thought it was something that was faulty, and I nearly took it back. But what I found was, basically, you can see I haven't got dust extraction set up, and there was just basically all this sawdust was clogging everything up, and all it needed was WD-40, and I just went round and I WD-40'd every single joint, every single nut, every single bolt, everything, and now it's as smooth as you can like. So it's part of the maintenance, I guess. I should really have dust extraction set up, but I certainly should keep it cleaner than I do. It's also got quite a nice feature, which you can't see from that side, but take my word for it, that there's a screw here that you can move down and set at a particular height. So if you don't want to be chopping all the way through it, you may be, like I was doing, I was building a window frame, and I was just wanting to take out half of the depth of the window frame all along. So basically once I'd set it, done it on the test piece, you can then screw this down, and effectively all it just is a full stop. And it basically just puts the screw down such that you can't actually push the handle all the way down, but what it means is you can do 6, 7, 12 cuts, and you know that you're going to get exactly the same depth every single time. So that's it's a nice item, nice feature. I wish it was a quick stop. It's not. It takes quite a long time to slow down, which particularly if you're trying to train yourself to always let the blade slow down inside the cut. It'd be nice if it slowed down way more quickly. I guess it's fairly entry level MacAllister. So yeah, it would be nice to have a quick stop on it, so that as soon as you took the finger off the power, it pretty well either stopped or slowed down very, very quickly. The stand is really, really good. You've got these bits extend out a long, long way, so you can have a long, long board that's supported. These rollers move up and down, so you can make sure your board is fully supported at exactly the same level as the bed. And then if you're cutting stuff which isn't quite as long as that, you've also got these built-in ones as well, which are at the right height, that they will support smaller pieces. Because what you don't want is, you don't want when you cut it, you don't want your offcut falling, because as it does that, it's then going to touch the blade, and that's again going to cause all sorts of problems. So make sure that you both the feed-in piece and your offcut, make sure they're both properly supported. So yeah, I'm supposed to be reviewing the item, and I seem to be talking more about how not to chop your fingers off, but it's a great piece of kit. It is a great piece of kit, and I would buy it again, but I wouldn't buy it as I certainly wouldn't buy it as my first item. It is useful, and I use it all the time. Maybe I would have to buy it quite early on, because otherwise I'd be manually sawing stuff. It is a great piece of kit. I would buy it again. I can't think of anything other than the instant stop. I can't think of anything else I'd like to improve on it. So yeah, I hope that's useful. If you've got any questions, then please put them in the comments section, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. If you've got time, it would be appreciated if you could like the video, and if you've got time, I'd also really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel. I don't put many videos out, so I'm not going to overrun you with notifications, but it just helps to get my numbers up, helps to make it a bit more worthwhile doing these videos. So I hope that's been useful, and in the meantime, stay safe. Thank you.